when something feels bad, that is your sign to take a step back. And we're so much in this culture of work hard, push back, push past the hard, strive, push, and so messed up that we're taught to push on when something is hard that you don't love. Like, everything in life should feel like you're just like biting into like this juicy apple, okay? And anything that doesn't feel like it, it's the equivalent of, like, you know how they say when you start smoking, like smoking cigarettes, people who, when you smoke your first cigarette, you have to push past it because it's such a horrible experience. You're coughing, it tastes horrible. But if you push past the bad, then cigarettes, start tasting good, or whatever, tasting, smelling good, I don't know. But it's easy, you want it, you're addicted to it. When you view it in the perspective of the cigarette, you realize how wrong that is, because that is just your sign that it's not for you. It's not for your body. Your body doesn't like it. Your mind doesn't like it. All your emotions are just a game. Like, when you play the game hot and cold, like, you're trying to find something that someone hid, and they're like, oh, you're cold, you're hot, you're cold. So when you feel bad doing something, that's just a sign that you're moving in the wrong direction. You need to step back. Or if you are going towards whatever, a house, and this dog is barking at you like crazy, you don't push forward and go towards the dog that is making you feel anxious, that's making you feel scared, that you obviously, it's not going to be an enjoyable experience, but you push past it. But your emotions are telling you, hey, bad situation, take a step back. And the thing is, the more you ignore it, the less sensitive you become to knowing what is the right direction for you. Because, like, think about touching a hot stove, right? It's really good to be sensitive. It's really good to have a low pain tolerance, because if you're touching a hot stove, you want to know, oh, hey, take your finger off. But because we've grown up in this culture of work hard, push on, even when it's difficult, even if you don't like it, even if you're miserable, keep pushing past it. But misery, anxiety are all just your GPS. That's it. And when you can kind of become emotionally detached and you see, hey, this makes me feel bad, so that means I gotta step back. This makes me feel good, move towards it. That's all your emotions are. Even anxiety, and that's the thing. Like, if you feel anxious, as soon as you start feeling that little bit, take a step back. Because the thing is, if you just keep pushing into a situation that gives you anxiety, all you're going to do is, one, increase your pain tolerance for bad emotions, which is not good. You want to have a low pain tolerance. You want your emotional instrument to be hypersensitive, so that this is bad, this is good. You right away be able to know, okay, I'm touching a hot stove, I gotta go. But if your hand doesn't have those sensors in it, or you've fried your hand so much that it can't even tell if it's touching a hot surface or a cold surface, it's gonna be really difficult for you, right? Work on having a low pain tolerance, and not just for hard work, but also for emotions. Even if you're like, I don't like the way that person makes me feel, even if it's nothing major, but you just don't like the way that person makes you feel, take a step back. That is your sign. Your emotions are your GPS, and they're telling you you're moving in the wrong direction. And some people say, okay, well, how am I supposed to grow? How am I supposed to introduce myself to new situations? Do it in ways that feel comfortable. Do it in ways that, one step feels good. And again, your emotional gauge is not, oh my God, you never do hard things. You will do hard things that you love. Someone who loves running will push themselves to go a little harder and do that extra mile. Your emotions are your GPS. And when you realize that you don't need to let your analytical mind over analyze everything, let your logic, drive you crazy, or let other people's opinions drive you crazy. All you need is this emotional sensor in your body. And the thing is, if you're constantly being exposed to different opinions and their idea of what's good for you, and you allow your brain to listen to that more than you allow your brain to listen to your gut and in your internal feelings, eventually you just become emotionally numb. You're numb to, I don't want to spend time on this. You become numb to anxiety. You become numb to, this feels bad, because you're so used to pushing past those bad feelings that suddenly your hand is completely burnt and you didn't feel a thing, but you've been trained into thinking hard work is healthy and good, and that's where success is. And it's just not the case. Success is doing something you love. And the thing is, when you're doing something you love and you face obstacles, they don't really feel like obstacles. They feel like learning opportunities. You're like, okay, I want to know more about this. Okay, I can navigate it. It feels exciting. It doesn't feel debilitating. But when you face obstacles of something that you're not really enjoying, you just want to throw your hands and give up, right? Use your emotions as your GPS. And some people are going to be like, oh my gosh, does this mean like I really hate English class? Like, does this mean I really shouldn't be studying English? I'm just, to each their own situation. But when something makes you feel bad, when something feels hard, you're moving in the wrong direction. If you can figure out a way to create your life where you're only doing the things that come so naturally to you, that you love, that you want to foster, you want to invest in those skills, that's how you know you're moving in the right direction. And if you feel bad, you're moving in the wrong direction. And think about even being in like a flow state, when they talk about productivity and being in a flow state, which pretty much just means you're kind of in the zone. You don't even realize that time's passing by. I feel like I'm like that when vlogging. With vlogging, I'm not even thinking about what I'm saying. It's just all coming out and I don't notice what time it is. So when you start figuring out what helps you enter a flow state and put your time into that, where nothing feels like work, it all just kind of feels like you're on this smooth ride because it comes so easy and so naturally to you, that's when you're moving in the right direction. If you feel like you've really messed up your emotional gauge because you're constantly taking in other people's opinions, or you're just so used to pushing past the hard, you're so used to pushing past the first cigarette feeling where you're like, oh my God, I don't like this, my body doesn't like this doesn't come naturally to me, that you can't even recognize when something is bad, you can't even recognize when you don't like something, because you're so used to pushing past the bad. It's good to know, like when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling bad feelings, it's good to know that you're feeling those things, because it means it's time for a change. Something needs to change. You're getting colder, okay, so let me try a little bit of this. Does that make me feel happier? No. Okay, just let me try a little bit of this. Does that make me feel happier? That all those negative emotions are hey, you're moving in the wrong direction. Try this, and you start feeling in different areas, and whatever feels good, engage in that. And it takes a few tries to figure it out. All you need in this world, you don't need educate. And like I don't have anything against education. I have a neuroscience degree from UCLA, but you know, there are a lot of people who don't have an education and are very, very successful, all because they know how to use their emotional GPS. Because your emotional GPS will always tell you where your success is buried. It will always tell you where your gold mine is. Your gold mine is buried in your heart. It's not buried in your brain. It's not buried behind walls of effort and pushing and hard work and striving. That's not what life is supposed to be. Life is supposed to feel downstream. It's not supposed to be this tough struggle and this drama that we all want it to be, because we're so brainwashed into thinking life is supposed to be hard. All these people who live hard lives, we revere them. The life you want is one of ease, one of flow. And when you realize that all the riches you want, all the success you want is when you're in a flow state, is when you're doing something that's based in love for you. But if you want to pursue something and you have no idea how to make money off of it, just do it, because the money will always come. The money will always come. And look at people who have been able to monetize what you're doing. And you know, when you figure out that all negative emotions are, oh, you're getting colder, and then positive emotions are, yes, you're moving in the right direction, that's good, keep going. And sometimes that changes, right? Sometimes it feels really, really good for 2 years, and then you're like, you know what, I need some change. And as soon as you feel that it's not making you happy anymore, take a step back. That is the guard dog barking at you saying, hey, step back. But so many of us are conditioned to move past that difficult feeling, that difficult first cigarette. All the signs are saying, no, your body doesn't like this, your mind doesn't like this. But remember, life is supposed to be hard. Remember that you're supposed to work hard. Remember, you're supposed to strive. Remember, you're supposed to push past the things that don't feel good. You are not supposed to push past the things that don't feel good. You're not supposed to push into relationships that don't feel good. You're not supposed to push into friendships that don't feel good. That is your sign to step back and say, nope, this is not for me. My body doesn't like this. My mind doesn't like this. This is not for me. All it is your GPS, you guys. Don't stress out about having negative feelings. You don't want a sticker on your gas tank, right? Like if you're looking at your gas tank and it's on empty, you don't want a sticker there. That you want to be able to know when you're on empty, right? That's all your emotions are. When you are feeling a negative emotion, say, oh my gosh, thank you. It's good to know that I'm moving in the wrong direction. Let me try a few different paths and let me see what feels good and what makes me feel happy, because that is the positive direction. And it's groundbreaking for so many people. And I tell friends this and they still struggle with it so much, because there's so much conditioning for life is supposed to be hard. If you're not working hard, if you're not struggling, if you're not bragging about how little sleep you got, if you're not bragging about how early you got up this morning, if you're not bragging about how hard you're working, you're lazy. And lazy is bad. Lazy means failure. And that's just not true. It's not true at all. Being in a state of love, if you are not feeling pure love, if you are not feeling pure flow, pure peace, pure connection, whether it's with the work you're doing, whether it's with the people you're with, you're moving in the wrong direction. And some people's gauge is so messed up because you have been conditioned into thinking you're supposed to be working hard. But all working hard is, all striving is, all pushing past something that doesn't feel good, all it is pushing past the first cigarette. And when you start being able to view it like that in your mind, and you realize oh my God, everything that I've ever pushed past that doesn't feel good was the first cigarette, and I should not push past it. Your negative feelings, your anxieties, your I don't know how I feel about this feels difficult, this doesn't feel exciting, this makes me feel frustrated. All it is telling you is, hey, this is not for you. Step back. Do not let people talk you into thinking life is supposed to be hard. Don't let people talk you into thinking you need to work hard for success, because it's just not true, and it's actually completely the opposite. Everyone who makes so much money, number one, they love what they do, and that's not the case for everyone. There are people who have struggled and pushed and of course, have managed to find financial success that way, but you should do it in the easiest, most fluid way possible, and that is when it will flow to you so openly, because you are in an open state, you are in a state of love and enjoying yourself, and there's no resistance. But when you're pushing and you're striving, you're on the wrong path. And this takes so long to click. This takes so much unlearning and relearning, and it completely kind of changes your paradigm of what life is supposed to be like. But trust me, hard work is counterintuitive to success. Love is the way. Love is the way. Doing what you love, whether it's people, whether it's your work. I don't even like to say the word work, because it's not work, it's just a dream that is coming through you. You're just a vessel for something that really wants to exist in this world, and it's coming through you. So I don't even like to say the word work, but you're just in this state of love in regards to what your mind is creating, what your body is creating, whether you're working with your hands or your mind or both. You're just in a state of love when you're interacting with people. And I'm telling you guys, love is the answer. Love is the answer. And I know that sounds really cheesy, but we are just taught the opposite. And it's really, really messed up, because it's counterintuitive. So you're not even guaranteed the results that you want. And number two, it will just lead you into a life of misery. When you push past the first cigarette, what do you get more of in your life? More cigarettes. Feeling like cigarettes are normal, feeling like anxiety is normal, feeling like being miserable is normal, and it's okay. You guys, anxiety, negative emotions are an abnormal state. It is your GPS saying you're moving in the wrong direction. Do not say, oh, negative emotions, like what am I gonna do? No, take it as a signal, like you look at your gas tank when it's on empty, and look at it and say, okay, I'm obviously on empty right now. What can I gravitate towards that makes me feel full? And you won't always figure it out right away, and that's okay. Feel around, get your hands dirty, and figure out what makes you feel good. But just even a tiny little action that makes you feel better and better and better, and you'll start kind of feeling your way through to what makes you feel good. But do not let people talk you into thinking life is supposed to be hard, that you're supposed to want to do hard work, and that you're lame or lazy or a loser if you're not struggling or working hard. It is cool to struggle. It is cool to be miserable. It is cool to find things difficult. It's cool that you're not getting enough sleep. It's cool that you're working so hard and not happy. That is your sign to refuel, and it's going to take you it might take you a few tries to figure out what refuels you. It's your sign you're moving in the wrong direction. It might take a few different paths to figure out which direction is the right direction, and that's okay. But let go of the concept that life is supposed to be hard, because it's not. They just want you to think that, and it's really messed up, because you can tell already what's natural to you. You can tell already what feels like it's just love pouring out of you in regards to whatever your dream is. It just feels so natural for you. And when you enter that state and you keep doing that, and maybe it feels good forever, maybe it feels good for a few years, and then something else starts feeling good, but just keep following those positive feelings, and don't get scared of negative feelings. All negative feelings are the sign that it's time for you to adjust your course a little bit and find something that feels a little better, and then find something that feels even more better and more better and more better. That's all. There's no need to stress out about negative emotion. All it is your GPS. Okay, I love you. I just really needed to vlog about this, because I was like, I'm so tired of people saying hard work is the answer. Hard work is the opposite of the answer. Love work, and I hate to use the word work, but having love pour out of your mind, your hands, your body, your mouth, whatever, that is the answer. And that's it. Crazy, right? Because that's not what you were taught. You were taught to struggle. It's ridiculous. Anyways, okay, love you. Bye.